Here's how to unlock the secret to mind-blowing guitar solos. Number one, learning your favorite solos. It's like a shortcut to understand the technique of the pros, basically. Because once you start to learn all these common bends, all these phrases that they use all the time, licks like this one. Once you know how to play them, you can easily use them in your own solos. And you'll not only learn your favorite solos, but you will also have a wider vocabulary with improvising and writing solos as well. Also, it's important to go for different kind of solos, so not just same kind of stuff. So your playing is going to be nice and colorful. For example, this one helped me with the fast licks. And this one with the cool melodic stuff. Number two is to make the solo serve the song. One of the worst things is when there's a beautiful song and there's an extremely skilled guitarist, and instead of playing something that fits the song, they just shred across the pentatonic scale or start sweep picking up and down. Maybe you know 30 scales and modes and you can shred, but David Gilmour is going to play the shit out of you with 3 notes. It's not about showing what you can do, it's doing what the song requires you to do. That's why it's important to serve the song, because you want to add to the song, not take away. Because if there's a beautiful melody and you just go like, it's not enjoyable. It's not that you don't want to go fast, it's just mixing these elements with taste. There are solos that I wrote that are at times crazy fast. And I have solos that doesn't have any shreddy stuff at all. Number 3 is to let your guitar solo tell a story. It's like putting people on an emotional roller coaster. When a solo comes in, it's playing with their feelings, some unexpected stuff. Here and there, adding some weird notes. Also combining the major and the minor scales when you can do that. And then using breaks and silence as well. And stopping for a second, letting the song breathe is also just super important. And then, occasionally, here and there, you can sprinkle it with some, tapping or some slides, something that you don't normally do. That's the time to show off your talent, if the song lets you to do that. Number 4 is to combine improvised and intentional licks. And what I mean by that is that many times when I'm writing a guitar solo, I just loop the backing track, so like the rhythm guitar in Logic, and then I can just keep listening to it and I can keep improvising to it until I come up with something that I like. Other times, I'm also like, hey, over here, I want a melody like I can remember when I wrote my very first solo. Nothing improvised, had everything in my head. It took so much more time figuring that out than just improvising. And once you combine the improvised with the intentional licks, that's when beautiful stuff happens. Although it's not financial advice. Number 5 is that learning music theory can't hurt you. Even though a lot of people like to say like,
oh, music theory takes away from originality.
Probably all these people, they never learn music theory and they don't know shit about music theory. But just by learning the basics and some basic scales, it can help you tremendously. You don't need to remove the originality because you can still come up with stuff randomly. It's just gonna be a crutch. Now, since I've just learned some music theory, my solos are so much better. Truth is that most of these guitarists who claim I don't know any music theory and write great guitar solos, maybe they don't know that, okay, this is a B sharp minor scale, but they know all the patterns, they know how the notes connect into each other, they know what the common bends sound like. You can learn music theory on your own just by learning hundreds of guitar solos. In that case, it's just inevitable that you're gonna know how the notes connect and all that. What it's gonna sound like if you go 2 whole steps up on the fretboard, or if you skip to a note on a different string. You will know because you will have that much routine after decades of playing. If you don't want to learn hundreds of guitar solos, music theory is a shortcut. And it also helps if instead of mastering all the fucking scales in the world, you just go for the minor pentatonic scale and really start leaning into that. It's not about how many scales you know, but how well you know those scales. If you give me the minor pentatonic, I'm gonna dominate that song. No need for all the fancy stuff until you learn your very first scale. Number 6 is following the chord progression. The notes in your solo, they complement the chord progression. So when there's a chord change, you make it obvious to the listener, or you do an arpeggio. A great way to do this, first you just start outlining your solo. Just by, there's a chord change. Let's say you have a C, G, A minor, and then an F chord progression. You check where those notes are, and then you go up on the fretboard like C, G, A, and F, and then just build your solo around that. Once you arrive the right notes and the right time, you can play pretty much anything you want in between if you do it with taste. There are no wrong notes. There are weird notes that you can make sound extremely nice. This is what I mean. And number 7 is mastering your phrasing. You have the notes you play, and how you play all those notes, that's the phrasing. Because you can play them like this. Or you can play them with taste and make it sound like a pro, like this. It's like, do you use a slide in the beginning? Or do you add the vibrato when you finish a phrase? Do you let your notes blend into each other as you're bending? All these things just make you sound professional and like you have a lot more experience. Either write a simple solo with great phrasing, then try to play something fast, but making it obvious that you have no idea what you're doing. If you implement these things, I guarantee you that your guitar solos are gonna be up to the roof. Now, if you want to join me for a free class, go check out my page. Till next time.